I am on a mission. I have a plan. I want to make each of my friends the best gift that they have ever received. That sounds like a tall order, right? And it is, but it's actually not as hard as you would think. I mean, think about it. Most people just go to the store, get something for their friend, and that's nice and all. You know, I'm not taking that away from anybody. I could do more. I could please them. I think I have the skills or the means to make something for each of my friends that they will love. And granted, this is all for their birthdays. It's not just spontaneous things. I'm not walking over to their house with, golden encrusted diamond, jewelry that I made custom on a random Wednesday. But I want to show my appreciation to each one of my friends. And I've already done this. I have a friend that has the same exact birthday as me, actually. And I made him a little mini, Funko Pop version of himself holding a wooden bloody stick. I also made that, weird flying bird from Cuphead for another one of my friends, and that came out, the head came off, but we're not going to talk about that. I'm going to redo that eventually, I swear. The next person on the chopping block is my friend named Dan. I've been friends with him since, God, how long have I been friends with this man? Since math class of, was that senior year? I think that was senior year. Yeah, I got close with him in senior year. That was cool. He was in my math class. Now it's his turn to get the best gift of all time, and he will be saying that by the end, I swear. Now, I'm not really sure exactly what he likes. Now, in order to figure out what he would actually want as a homemade gift, I had to go to somebody else. I could have just asked him myself. That'd be stupid. So I went to his friend Sam, called him up for a few minutes, and I said, "Hey Sam, what is Dan like?" And he was all like, "Bro, I'm in California." And then we brainstormed some ideas for, things that I could make him. My friend Sam brought it to my attention that he liked Terraria. Now, I like Terraria too. I mean, we played it together. And that got me thinking, what can I make from Terraria that he would love? And something that's custom. It's not just like, oh, I made you this, sword from Terraria. Here you go. I hope you like it. No, I wanted it to be, unique to him. Oh, big spikes. Big spikes. Oh God, have I been screaming? Uh-oh. Oh well. So here's what I was thinking. You know that slime king from Terraria? The big blue guy with the ninja inside, little crown on the top. Yeah, I thought I could make that for him, but it's in 2D. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna make, a flat? No. I'm gonna make it in 3D. Here's my plan. First, I'm gonna 3D print the Slime King out. It's basically just a sphere that had its, head kicked in, but upside down. Then I'm going to put it in a container in which I can pour silicone rubber into it. That will give me a negative space where I can pour epoxy resin with a little bit of blue food dye into that mold. At least that's my plan. But what about the ninja, right? What am I going to do about him? Well, I thought I could replace him with the words Dan, because I'm really creative. Then once that's dry, I want to make a little showcase for it. Maybe a little stand. Not exactly sure how I'm going to do that, but I actually, my mom just randomly found some MDF and acrylic lying around, and she just decided to give it to me because I like to make stupid stuff sometimes. And decided, yeah, that's what I'll make the display case out of. So that's my idea for that. Now, have I worked with silicone rubber before? Have I worked with epoxy resin before? No. And I'm probably only going to be able to buy enough to do it once. So I'm going to have one try at this. So there are many points of failure here. But I just like to try new things. that's me. I ask my friends. I'm all about trying new things. So here's my little mock-up currently for the display case. I want these two pieces of acrylic that are glued together to hinge on the back and open and close, so you can actually take this Slime King out. It does in fact say Dan on the inside, and these like clouds and little squares are just placeholders for the actual like Terraria art that I'm gonna put in. I'm hoping I can kind of put in a few trees, maybe a bunny, a squirrel, a bird, bushes, stuff like that. And I'm really proud of these, but I don't know if they're actually gonna work, is these little spacers to help keep it in place, but it's not gonna help it from falling this way. So I'll probably have to think of a different solution. But this is what we're working with right now. Alright, so a lot of my footage actually ended up getting lost. My camera's currently broken and sometimes it just stops recording. So I lost the footage of me actually cutting this MDF and spray painting it. But that's alright, I don't think it's really that interesting anyway. Here I'm putting together the box and doing a very poor job of it because, you know, in retrospect, I'm recording this afterwards. I really should have spent more time making sure everything is straight. I really should have invested in a right angle ruler, because this was just hell to deal with. Since nothing was straight, I had to cut everything on really odd corners, and it turned out to be just awful to deal with. That's one thing amongst many things that I've learned to not do in the future. So I currently have the box. It's mostly done. I just have to put the top on, but unfortunately the acrylic is just too thin. Also, I completely ruined it by sanding it. So I need to think of a different way that I can put the top and side on while still being able to take it off and be able to view the Slime King in all of its glory. So we're gonna have to pivot. I'm gonna have to think for a little bit. So while I thought about what I could do for the display case, I captured this really cool time lapse for the 3D print that would be used for the mold. So after I had the 3D print of the Slime King, it was time to put him into a container in which I can create a silicone mold. So the funny thing is, I really thought I was going to mess this up somehow, and I ended up doing just that, but it ended up working out sort of in the end. So the problem I ran into was when I started pouring the silicone into the container, which of course was iced tea, I had the 3D print double-sided taped down to the bottom, but unfortunately it just wasn't strong enough and it immediately floated to the top, and that was a giant problem. I mean, if the silicone print is floating, it's completely ruined. So I went into a little bit of panic mode, and you can see me run off screen trying to find super glue, and I ended up having to pour the silicone out, clean off the 3D print, super glue it to the bottom instead, and then do the whole print over again. And I was really scared that I was gonna get some bubbles in the silicone mold, but it ended up being pretty good actually.
This is really cool. Boop, 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 boop. It's like tacky now. Probably shouldn't be touching it. You can see the little swirls in there because I clearly didn't mix good enough. But you know what? It looks like it worked. And it's firm and tacky, so I'll let it sit until tomorrow.
Later.
I have committed multiple atrocities. The first thing I decided to do was put the 3D print inside of a half and half iced tea lemonade. Unfortunately, I don't necessarily know how to get it out now. Probably gonna have to use a Dremel, which I've never used before, but that's not really the first time. I've never done anything in this project. Clearly I didn't mix it well enough, because if you look inside, which you definitely will not be able to see and definitely will not focus on, there's swirls, which means the parts didn't mix very well. I should probably put this down. It's very sticky. The next atrocity that I committed is this piece of shit. I did not know how to get the thing to hinge from the back, although that would have been more hidden. But gluing two pieces of really thin acrylic together on this corner just didn't seem plausible. So I decided to put it on the left side, and it just has this really crappy residue. I still don't know if you're gonna be able to see that or not. I'm gonna have to paint some of the edges, spray paint some of the edges, because they're no longer black. The acrylic isn't necessarily lining up very well, so I'm gonna have to eventually cut that and add a top. The top is definitely gonna come last though, because I have to do the stuff on the inside. But hopefully the silicone cures and I can pour the resin in. I have to go get food dye tomorrow, and that's where I'm sitting at. But yeah, it's looking like shit, and I'm upset. But we're gonna work with it. We're gonna work with it. We're gonna work with it. Once it was actually dry, I had to cut the print out of the the iced tea, and I didn't realize that there was some aluminum on it, so I had to use a Dremel to cut through it. It just seemed like the easiest tool for the job, and you could see all these sparks flying, and I was just kind of fucking with it. I should be wearing long sleeves for this. But then I was actually able to get it open, and whoa, fridge last. Well, this is really cool. Look at that. It's utterly perfect and just a sphere. It's almost as useless. I could have probably just bought this now that I think about it. But that's fine. It was cool. So the resin pouring, which is the thing that everybody's been waiting for, and this was what I found to be super exciting. I ended up doing it really wrong on the first try. The first mistake I made that I don't show on camera is I shake the bottles like an idiot. That's it. Already you're just introducing tons of bubbles to get into the print. I don't know why I did it. But the first pour here ended up going, I mean, it went really smoothly, but there were just so many bubbles in the first pour that I wasn't able to get out, and I don't have a heat gun to get rid of them. So the first pour just ended up looking really crappy. But I really quickly learned from my mistakes, and the other two pours that I had to do went really well. As the project started coming to an end, I started getting really down on myself. I wasn't happy with how the project was going, and I ended up recording this. All right. I've hit a little bit of a low point. I'm not really happy with how the display is going for the Slime King, right? I took the Slime King out of the mold, which I didn't show. I haven't really recorded all that much, to be honest, but it's looking all right. There's a lot of bubbles on the bottom, which I hope I can sand off. It's not a clear finish whatsoever, so I'm gonna have to go to the store tomorrow, get some high grit sandpaper, and try to fix things. I think it'll be okay. I think this is just kind of a point where I gotta push through to the end, cause I have something, right? I mean, at least I could just glue him to the display and have that be it. But I kind of wanna do more, and I can't. Is what it is. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. Okay, so after that whole debacle, I needed to just sand, finish up the display, and then I called it quits. So at this point, I stopped recording as much because I just really felt as though the finished product was more important than just making this stupid video, right? So I ended up going in the basement and getting a couple different grits of sandpaper and going to town on this this Slime King, trying to get it as polished as possible. My goal was to get it to be like pure glass, and I thought this was really achievable. I mean, I see it on different YouTube videos all the time. Unfortunately, I guess it just wasn't realistic, and also I was only able to get up to like 2,000 grit sandpaper, when apparently, I mean, you're supposed to go to as far as like 4,000, 5,000 grit, which I couldn't find. So I did end up using car polish though for like the finish. So for a little bit it smelled like car polish, but it did kind of give it a nice shine. It wasn't transparent though, or translucent. It was pretty opaque, unfortunately. And so that meant the letters on the inside weren't really visible. But it's kind of a blessing in disguise, because honestly, if you put a light up to it, you can see it really, really clearly, and you kind of get a shadow of it, which is a lot cooler in my opinion. So I'm gonna call that a little happy accident and say that it's supposed to be hidden. After this was sanded, all I did was put the cardboard flats on, gave it another paint job. I put my logo on it, and I put the top on, and then I called it quits.
We rolled in. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay, so the gift is done. Finally. It was a pretty rocky road. I really didn't expect it to be as difficult, as challenging as it was. A lot of the stuff that I didn't actually get recorded because by the end I was so focused on trying to get it to look good that I really didn't want to spend the time to record all these time lapses or voiceovers or whatever. So I ended up not showing a lot, but here's some B-roll of the finished product. Now, there's a lot you actually didn't get to see. You didn't get to see me fully sand. You didn't get me 3D printing the crown or making the 2D flats. You didn't see me doing this. I think this is really cool. I hope it's going to be in focus. But this is essentially like a secondary logo for me. My gamer tag is the original Fireball. And as you can see, this is like a galaxy, so it's like the original. And these are flames, Fireball. So, original Fireball. There you go. I don't know. I'm pretty happy with it. I definitely don't think he's gonna think it's the best gift he's ever received, but maybe it's a gift that someone put the most effort into. So I could still be up there. The last thing left to do is to wrap it and to see what he thinks. So let's go see what he thinks. Oh God. It's so stupid, dude. Yeah. I don't know which way's up, so it may just be straight up upside down when you open it up.
Let's see it. Wait, which way's up?
This is the bottom. This is the top.
Okay,
This is the top. This is the top.
If I can fucking open this.
I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous.
Little guy.
Little guy. Yeah.
See, the guy just hit it.
Little-
Hit it right there. Yo, what did you make this king slime out of?
Resin.
It's very spherical.
Thank you. I did a lot of sanding.
What's in there?
So you got like little guys, and then there's a crown. You can open this up.
Squirrel. Oh shit! Is it openable?
Yeah.
Where?
It's on a hinge.
Oh. Oh.
And then there's Velcro here, so you can like
I can take him out.
you can very gently rip them off. Be as like strong as possible.
King slime. He's so cool. He's this little guy.
Yeah.
He's so cool.
All right, so final thoughts. I think he liked it. I'm really proud of how it came out. I didn't want to record so much in front of his face, so I left most of it to private, but he did end up giving me a hug. So that's a win in my book, truly. I want to thank you for coming on this journey with me, and I hope I can make more of these in the future. Give me a little bit of a subscribe. I've always wanted to say that. And as always, thanks for watching.